Okay, Shavua Tov Kal Kadosh. We are going to continue with Daf Bet Amud Aleph 22a1. This is Shabbat's Daf. So we're going to start from the two dots on the second line where it says V'amar Rav Kahana. V'amar Rav Kahana, says Rav Kahana, Darash Rav Natan bar Manyume Mishved Rav Tanchum. Says Rav Nachman bar Manyume in the name of Rav Tanchum. My dikti, what does it mean when it's written in the Pasuk? V'abor rekem momayim, which means Reuven is trying to save Yosef HaTzadik. So what does he do? They throw him into the pit. Now it says that the pit was rek, it says it's empty, and it doesn't have any water. Obviously, it says that the pit is empty, and Yodeh Shemesh obviously has no water, it means it's empty. Or rather, no, what does it come teach you? It doesn't have water. It doesn't have water, but that it does have nechashim v'akravim. So the question is, if it has snakes and scorpions, so what was Reuven thinking? Reuven is trying to save Yosef HaTzadik, and he's throwing him to a pit with snakes and scorpions. But rather, because the pit was 20 amot deep, he couldn't see it. And that's a connection between this Gemara about the bor rekem omayim to do with the bor, and the previous Gemara that I just said that Ner Shel Chanukah, that you placed it above 20 amot, you cannot see because the eyesight of a human being only goes 20 amot, whether it's up or down. So the connection between this Gemara and the next Gemara is that Yosef, that Reuven did not know there were snakes and scorpions because it was too deep, and therefore he wasn't able to see it. Next two dots. Amar Rabba. Rabba says, Ner Chanukah, mitzvah lanicha v'tefach ha'smucha lepetach. The mitzvah is to place it in the tefach, in the 8 centimeters, close to the entrance of the house. Okay, why? Because if it's going to be too far away, it's not nikar that it comes that the balabait was the one that put it there. So v'hecha manachle, where does he place it exactly? So Ravacha bered Rava amar miyamin. So Ravacha bered Rava comes and he says, you're supposed to put it at the right side of the entrance for the mezuzahs. Rav Shmuel bedifti amar no, mismol on the left side. The hilchat halacha is mismol on the left side. Why? So therefore you are surrounded by mitzvot. You have the mezuzah on the right side when you're coming in, and the ner chanukah on the left side when you're coming in. So therefore you're surrounded by the mitzvot. The Gemara now is going to explain another halacha to do with using the light of the Chanukiah. And the Gemara says as follows. Amrav Yudah Maravasi says that you the name of Ravasi. Asur la'artzot ma'ot keneg ner Chanukiah. You're not allowed to start counting money with the light of the Chanukiah. Okay? Now he says, Kamita kenedi Shmuel. When I went and I said this in front of Shmuel, Amarli, he told me, he says, what? Are the candles, the ner Chanukiah is so holy that I cannot use it at all? For sure not. So it comes out according to Shitat Shmuel, I am allowed to count, right? With the light of the Chanukiah, I'm allowed to count money. So now, Matkif Rav Yosef. So Rav Yosef comes and he's going to ask against Shmuel. According to you, Shmuel, you're allowed to use the Chanukiah to come and to start counting money? He says, V'chi dam, kirusha yeshbo. He says, there's a mitzvah of kisui adam. We know that the mitzvah of kisui adam only applies to Belfot, right, but not to regular animals. Meaning a regular behemah that you're going to slaughter does not happen. But it does happen by ofot. Why does it happen by ofot, by the birds? Because the kisui adam is basically when I'm going to come and I'm going to slaughter a bird. After slaughtering the bird, what happens is I have to cover kisui hadam be'afar, which means I'm going to cover the blood with earth. So I'm going to cover it over. So says the Gemara, v'chi adam kedusha yeshbo. Says what? The blood, does it have any kedusha? Now why? Still I'm not allowed to do it in a disgraceful manner. The Tanya was we learned to the Braita, v'shafach v'chisahu. You're going to spill the blood, and then you're going to cover the blood. What does that mean that you're going to spill the blood and cover the blood? Says the Gemara, Masechet Shabbat Daf, with that which you came and you have covered it, which means that which you came and you used in order to spill the blood, with the exact same way you have to cover the blood as well. So says the Gemara, the Masechet Shabbat Yichaseh, Shelo Yichasenu Baregel. Meaning a lot of people could think, listen, I just did shechita. I took the animal, cut its neck, right? All of a sudden it's a bird. Remember, only by birds and chayot, wild animals, but birds, right? So I'm coming, I do the birds, or usually they do it for the, when they do this mitzvah a lot, when they do for the kaparot. For the kaparot, all the time you have kisui adam b'afar. So you're going to come, you're going to slaughter it, the blood falls on the floor. So now with my foot, I could just cover it. Says Gemara, no. It says, shelo yichasenu baregel. I cannot use my feet in order to cover the blood with the earth. In order that there should not be the mitzvot in a disgraceful manner. So to here, to do with the ner Chanukah, there should not be the mitzvot, which means if I'm going to start counting money with the light of the Chanukiah, I'm disgracing the mitzvah. So says the Gemara, there's another case which is also very similar. So again, one more time. Here, what's happening is that we asked the question against Shemuel because we're saying that how could you, Shemuel, say that you're permitted to use the candles of the Chanukiah in order to come and to count the money? He says, look at the Kisui Adam. And what, you're going to tell me Kisui Adam is holy? Is a Kiddusha, just like the candles. They asked from Yeshua ben Levi, what's the halacha to be mistapek minuye sukkah all the 7 days? Which means I just came up and I put adornments in the sukkah. Can I now come and benefit from them during the 7 days of the regel or not? So Amar Lehem says to Yeshua ben Levi, Hade Amru asur latzot ma'ot keneged ner Chanukah. So Yeshua ben Levi comes and he says, 1 second. Very simple. If we just said you're not allowed to count money by the Nerot Chanukah, so you're not allowed to use the Noyeh Sukkah during the 7 days. So says the Gemara, Amar Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef comes and he says against Rav Yeshua ben Levi, Mare de Avraham, master of Avraham Avinu, Talui Tanya bedelo Tanya. He says, I don't understand. You're being toleh. You're depending something which is taught explicitly with something which is not taught explicitly. Sukkah Tanya, Chanukah lo Tanya. Sukkah is written mefurash in the Gemara. You're not allowed to benefit from the Noyeh Sukkah. The Chanukah is not written mefurash. That's what we are coming and we are saying. So therefore, why am I coming and I'm asking you, somebody's asking you a question, what about Sukkah? So you answer with Chanukah. Sukkah is written mefurash. Use the Sukkah as the basis. Chanukah is not the basis. So he says, why? Says the Gemara, how do we know that this is the basis? He comes and he says, right, where do we learn this from? He says, the Tanya we learned in Raita, Sikecha kilchata. If you made the schach like the halacha, which means you went, you made the schach, everything was perfect, a beautiful sukkah, b'itara, you adorned it, bikramim, v'vistinim, which basically with different curtains, right, and beautiful types of curtains all around. The talab gozim, you put on a walnut, safarsukim, we were talking about peaches and almonds and rimonim and pomegranates, ufrakilanavim and zimurot of geffen with ashkolot, the cluster of the grapes. You did everything there. Batrosh shibolim, you put there shibolim, which are the shibolet is the different types of kernels, right? Yenot, oil, wines, oil, slatot, different fine flour. You're not allowed to use it until Motzei Yom Tov Acharon al Chag, which means that not even until, right, not only forget about Yom Tov of Sukkot, even Shmini Atzeret you're not allowed to. In the footnote, he actually continues with, he explains, according to the halacha, that since during the Ben Hashmashot of Shmini Atzeret it was a safek during the day, safek during the nighttime, which means that the fact that during Ben Hashmashot it was prohibited to use it, so then it becomes migur, becomes prohibited the entire Yom Tov as well. So the entire Shmini Atzeret as well, you're not allowed to use it as well. Says the Gemara, but if I made a condition, which means that meaning I preempted myself and I made a condition that when I was putting it down already from the beginning, I did not want to make it mukse during the time of the Ben Hashmashot. So therefore what happens is, it all depends on your time and you're allowed to even use it during the Yom Tov as well. So therefore, what Rav Yosef is coming and he's asking is, why are you, Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, coming and answering that basically, what is the halacha by Sukkot? You learn it from Chanukah. Sukkot is written mefurash. Chanukah was something that we learn later on. So says the Gemara, Rav Yosef says, you're right. Avuhon de kulehu dam. The father of all the cases is Kisui Adam, which means we learn from the mitzvah of Kisui Adam, the shafach v'chisa, that just like you spill the blood with your hand, so too you have to mechaseh, you have to cover the blood with your hand, and it cannot be done with your foot because if not, it's disgraceful. That is the Av. That's like the father. That's where we learn everything from. And then we learn the Sukkah and the Ner Chanukah from there as well, in order that we don't have that it should be disgraceful upon us. So the as I say, the Binyan Av, where we learn everything from, comes from the Kisui Adam, and Sukkot and Chanukah, we learn from there. Okay? Next. Itmar, it was stated. Rav Amar Rav says, which means like this. I've got now the Chanukiah. I cannot light from one candle to another candle. Okay? That's according to Shitat Rav. So one candle to another candle, I cannot light. Shmuel says, Malikin, you are allowed to. Second halacha. Rav says, Ematidin tzitzit mi beged lebeged. Says Rav, if I've got tzitzit on one clothing, I cannot take it off, and then I'm going to put it on a new clothing. That means even though on the new clothing, the new beged of the tzitzit, I'm moving it from one to another, transferring. Asur. Why? We're going to learn why according to Shitat Rav. But Rav says Asur. Shmuel says you're permitted. Third halacha. Rav says the halacha is not like Rabbi Shimon and Gereda. We're going to explain in 1 second what is Gereda, but basically you're how do you call it? You're dragging, right? Whether it's going to be a mitaki sevis of sal, which is basically a bed, a chair or a bench, dragging it on the floor on Shabbat. According to Rav, the halacha is not like Rabbi Shimon, that means we're passing lechumra. And according to Shmuel, the halacha is like Rabbi Shimon and Gereda. Amar Abaye says, Kol mile demor avid kerav. Rav Bar Nachmani, in all of these things, he always used to paskin like Rav, except for these three, right? That he used to go like Shmuel, which means that we are allowed to light from one candle to another candle, Chanukiah. You're allowed to take from the tzitzit from an old clothing and put it onto a new clothing, and no problem. And the halacha is like Shmuel and Gereda, which means like this. There's usually, whenever there's a machlok between Rav and Shmuel, the halacha is like Rav in Isurim, and the halacha is like Shmuel in Dayanut, which means money matters, the halacha is like Shmuel, and anything to do with Isurim, what's permitted, the halacha is like Rav, except for these three cases. And that's why they brought down these three cases. For us, we only needed the case of Ner Lener to do with Hilchot Chanukah, because that's what we're dealing with. However, though, they brought down all these three cases because they're all the same idea, or at least the first two were the same order of idea to do with the bizui mitzvah, the disgrace of a mitzvah. So according to Shittat Rav, he says it's a sur, but we pass like Shmuel that you're allowed to do so. So he says, what was the case of Greda? So says the Gemara, the Tanya, we learned in the Braita, Rabbi Shimon says, Gorel Adam mitaki sev sasal. You're allowed to drag a bed, a chair, or a bench on the ground, and you're not going to care, even though when you're dragging it on Shabbat, it's going to make like a furrow. It's going to make like a little, the lines in the ground. When you're dragging something, so it's going to take the earth. We were dragging on earth, not dragging on cement. Nowadays, everything's roads, everything's cement. But in the olden days, everything was dirt roads. So you're allowed to drag it, even though it's making that. Now, why? As long as you don't have kavanah to make the furrow. That means if you don't have the kavanah to make this trench or this, like a furrow in the ground, you're allowed to. Why? Because we paskin like Shimon that the Vashem Mitkaven is mutar, which means as long as you don't have kavanah to do the melacha, even though inevitably the melacha is coming out, it's not inevitably, because it's secret shot, it's a problem. And that's why it was a mistake to say inevitably. But as long as it's not for sure, as long as you don't have a kavanah for it, it's going to be permitted. Okay, so therefore, even if it is going to make this charitz, it's permitted. Why? Davar shelom mitkaven mutar, we paskin like Rabbi Shimon, and that's halacha l'maaseh as well. So now says the Gemara. Okay, we're now going back. So we just spoke about the three cases that we paskin like Shmuel and not like Rav. Now we're going to analyze what is the reasoning between the machloket between Rav and Shmuel and the first machloket between Ner Lener. So says the Gemara, there were these rabbis that were sitting in front of Rav Barava, okay, and what happened was that there was one rabbi that was in front of Rav Barava, Yati the Kamar, and he was saying, what's the reasoning of Rav? Mishum bizui mitzvah. He says the reason why is because it's a bizui mitzvah, which means you're disgracing the mitzvah. The fact that you're going to light from one candle to another candle, that's a bizui mitzvah. So Amar Lehu, so Rav Barava came and he told to the other chachamim that they were there, Lo tetzetule, don't even listen to this guy. He says, why? Tamed Rav mishum dekamachish mitzvah. The reasoning of Rav is not because of bizui mitzvah. He says the reasoning of Rav is because you're being machish the mitzvah, which means you're minimizing the mitzvah. Why? Because when you're lighting from the mitzvah, the nen mitzvah, it's as if that you're taking the light from that mitzvah and you're putting it to another one. It looks like it. Again, it's not that it's actually happening, but that's what it actually looks like it. Okay? So it says over here like this, which means that according to this shita of Ravada Barava, it comes out that they were never arguing if you were going to use an intermediary light, because that for sure was going to be a sur. Okay, that's for sure. That's for sure is going to be a sur, right? So he said, but that would be even a sur according to Shemuel because of bizui mitzvah. So now says the Gemara, "My benai, what's the nafkamina between them?" So says the Gemara, the nafkamina between them is the kamalik mishaga l'shaga. If you're going to light it directly without any middle candle, okay. So according to the mandamar that says bizui mitzvah, so you're allowed to, because since you're lighting from one candle to another candle, madlik, you're allowed to. There's no problem. There's no bizui mitzvah. So he says, however, though, according to the Mandama, mitzvah, you're minimizing the mitzvah because when you're lighting from one to another, it looks like you're taking away from that candle, the original candle. It says even mishaga l'shaga is also going to be a sur. You're not allowed to from one candle to another candle. Okay, so now the Gemara is going to explain, 1 second. If you're going to say that this is explanation, let's see as follows. Mati for Ravavia is going to come and he's going to ask the following question. Sela shel ma'aser sheni, 1 kaf bet amud bet. Okay, 22b. It says, what happens when you have a coin of ma'aser sheni, which you did chilul on perot ma'aser sheni? So just to understand what is this going on, what is ma'aser sheni? Remember, when you have all the fruits in your field, okay, every single year you always have to take off Maaser Rishon. Maaser Rishon is 10% that you took off. Okay, actually, sorry, let me go backwards. First, you take off Truma Gedula. Truma Gedula is any amount, or they come and they say 150th, and you come and you take off. That goes directly to the Kohen. After the Kohen, you take off 1/10, which is called Maaser Rishon. That 10th goes to the Levi. The Levi takes off 1/10 from there to give it to the Kohen. That's called Trumat Maaser. Now, after that, there's something which is called Maaser Sheni or Maaser Ani. Maaser Sheni is in years 1, 2, 4, 5. Maaser Ani is years 3 and 6. Okay, so now what is Maaser Sheni and Maaser Ani? An additional 10% on years 1, 2, 4, 5, which is Maaser Sheni. I'm going to come and have to take off this 10%. Usually I redeem it. And when I redeemed it, I have to add on a 5th. What I do with this redemption is I take this money, and I'm usually going to redeem it on the coin. That's what we're talking about. And then when I go to Eretz Yisrael, when I go to Yerushalayim for Aliyah L'Regel, I have to spend the money on meat or on things like that. And in Yerushalayim, I have to eat it in Yerushalayim. So it's Maaser Sheni. Technically speaking, I'm allowed to take the fruits themselves and take it up to do Aliyah L'Regel. But it's not always practical because not always you're going to go with heavy, burdens, or not always is it practical because it depends when the season was. Maybe you weren't able to go, so therefore sometimes they redeemed it. So what happens is that you've got a matbea, a coin of a sela, that you had fruits of maaser sheni redeemed on this coin. So says the Gemara, en shoklin kenegdo dinarei zahav. I already know the weight of this coin, so I cannot put this coin on top of a how do you call it? I cannot put this coin on top of a weight, right? That's going to be on one side, and then I'm going to put on the other side other coins to check if that coin is actually 100% the same volume or not. So I cannot do that. I cannot start weighing one coin, a coin of Maaser Sheni, with another coin of Dinarei Zahav. Va'afilu lechalel alav Maaser Sheni acher. Even if I wanted to come and I was purposely putting another coin on the other side to use it also as Maaser Sheni, which means I was going to use the new coins on the other side of the scale also to use it as to what's the word in English? I'm going to lechalel alav, meaning I'm going to make it holy because I'm making it like the substitute on other Maaser Sheni. So therefore, it's a proof from here that it comes out that right now, even if I'm going to use it on another one, it's also going to become prohibited. So the question is, if you're going to tell me now, and that's what he's going to explain now, if you're going to tell me like the first opinion, not like Rav Barava, that the machloket between Rav and Shmuel was even from one candle to another candle directly, aval bekinsa, but if it was going to be with a kinsa, right, asar Shmuel, so then, sorry, this is a proof to Rav Barava. Okay, I apologize, the other way around. There's a proof to Rav Barava. Again, according to Rav Barava, he said that the machloket that Rav and Shmuel was yashar from one candle to another candle, but if it was going to be with the intermediary candle, for sure it's going to be asur even according to Shmuel. So he says about Bekinsa Asar Shmuel, so then this Braita is not a question against him. However, though, but if you're going to tell me then with an intermediary candle, it's going to be permitted, right? According to Shmuel, so this is going to be a question against Shmuel. Because if according to Shmuel, Bizui Mitzvah is going to be asur, but from one candle to another candle directly is permitted, according to Shmuel. So then 1 second, if it's going to be like that, so then what's the reasoning why with the sela it's going to become prohibited? So this is actually going to be a question against him. Okay? So one more time, right? Again, we just brought down a machloket between one rabbi and Rav Ada Barava. The first rabbi said the reasoning behind Rav was because of Bizui Mitzvah. Okay? So if it's because of Bizui Mitzvah, the machloket then is going to be if you're going to do it with an intermediary. Okay? Now, if it's going to be like that, according to Rava, right? According to Rav, sorry, I apologize. Right? According to Rav, that he said that it's going to be a sula lik minen lene. He comes and he says, when you're going to light it with a kisam, so then it's a bizui, right? So then now comes Ravada Barava. Ravada Barava argues. He says that's not the reasoning of Rav. The reasoning of Rav is because you're machish the mitzvah. So now, according to Ravada Barava, I'm minimizing the machloket. Why? Because according to Rav Ada Bar Ava, even according to Shemuel, with an intermediary candle, for sure is going to be asur. So when is the machloket? From one candle directly to another candle. So then comes the Gemara and says like this: if you're going to learn like that, so this braita is beautiful. Why? To use an intermediary for sure is going to be asur. Lighting from one candle to another candle, that's a machloket. So then it's all going to be okay. But if you're going to learn, right, that it's going to come out that the reason of the bizayon is going to be only because of a bizayon, so therefore it's going to come out that he says, if you're going to tell me mishum bizui mitzvah, mishagal l'shagal, you're going to be madlik, right, according to what we just mentioned, but you're allowed to light from one candle to another candle directly according to Shemuel. So, right, now you're going to have a problem over here. So he says, Amar Rabba, Rabba comes and he answers, Gizera shema lo yuchaveh mishkalotav, v'kama piklu lechulin. He says, no, you know why? Really be'emet, to use it from one chilul to another chilul, which means from a maaser sheni coin to another coin to make it into maaser sheni, would have been permitted. So why is it asud here? He says, you know why? It's a special gezerah. He says it's a gezerah. Maybe you're not going to find out. You're not going to find that it was actually the purpose. It's going to be either too little or too big. And therefore, he says, Shema yimtza chaserim, it's going to be too lacking. And therefore, it's not ra'ui for the pidyon maaser sheni. Or the opposite. Maybe it's going to be too heavy. The coin is going to be too big. And therefore, you don't want to waste it because then you're wasting it. So for what happened? The kamapiklu l'chulin. So you're going to take it up for chulin. So now it comes out that you did use it in vain. And that's what the bizui mitzvah was. So because of that, maybe be'emet, it's not like Rav Ada Barava. Maybe be'emet, it was like the chacham. And you can't bring a proof from this braita. Because this braita was a special braita, special decree, that even in a case if you're going to do it for another maaser sheni coin, it's still going to be prohibited. And why? Because gezerah, maybe you're not going to use it at the end. And if you're not going to use it at the end, there was a disgrace in the mitzvah. So don't bring me a proof from this braita against the previous rabbi that he said it was because of bizui mitzvah. It could still be because of bizui mitzvah. So we don't have any proofs anymore. Okay? Now, Rav Sheshat is going to ask on both of the opinions, whether according to Rav or according to Shmuel. Mativ Rav Sheshat. Rav Sheshat comes and he asks the following question. It's written in the Torah, Vayikra Kaf Daled Gimel, to do with Alakan Nerot in the menorah of the Bet HaMikdash. Michutz lefarochet ha'edut ya'aroch, which means this is coming to teach you that Aaron Kohen or any Kohen that he has to do the nerot on the menorah. When he's doing it, right? It says, why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu come and say that we have to light the Chanukiah? We need to light the Chanukiah. They went with the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We need the light. Does it say that you need light in the room? We need light. We're not in the Bet HaMikdash. But the Bet HaMikdash didn't need any light. The Bet HaMikdash used to give the light to the outside in the world. Why do you need the menorah bicha? Ela edut hu, right? That's why it says lefarochet ha'edut. It's giving an edut. It's giving a testimony lebaya olam to everybody. Shashchina shura b'Yisrael. That the Shekhinah is going to be in the Yisrael, which means that the parochet ha'edut means that the parochet which is behind the edut. The edut is the menorah, and the parochet which is separating between the kodesh kodashim. Remember, right behind the menorah, you had the parochet, and the parochet was separating between the kodesh kodashim and the hechal. There was the ulam, which the ulam was the entrance of the hechal. There was the hechal, and then there was a curtain, and then there was a kodesh kodashim. So what you had is that it was called parochet ha'edut. It was a testimony to everybody that we had Shekhinah. My edut. How do we know that the Shekhinah was in Israel? How is the menorah going to show us that there's Shekhinah and it's in amongst Bnei Yisrael? Amar Rav says, Zu ner ha'ma'aravi. It's a ner ha'ma'aravi, the western candle. Shenoten bo shemen kimidat chavrotea. But you're going to put the exact same amount of oil in the ner ha'ma'aravi, just like all other candles. However, though, mimenna hayamalik used to light all the candles from that candle, the ner ma'aravi, right, during men arabayim in the afternoon, uva hayamesayim, and that's what used to finish on the next day of the lighting, which means that there was a miracle day in and day out. But the ner ma'aravi, even though you put the exact same amount of oil, like everyone, which is only enough for the nighttime, you used to light the entire night and day until the next day, which means it comes out that the miracle was every single day you had the miracle of Hanukkah, right? But the miracle of Hanukkah was in the oil. Here we're not talking about in the oil. Here the miracle was an actual candle in the oil, that it wasn't just that the oil sufficed for the 8 days. Here the candle in itself lit, even though with the same amount of oil, for night and day, even though all the other candles would turn off. So all the other candles would turn off, but the Ner Ma'aravi would stay on the entire night and day. So now here, Kevan the Kvi Nerot, since right now it's Kavua the candles, okay? So it says over here, Lo Sagya de Lo Mishkal Vadluke. He says it cannot be that you're going to come and you're going to take a kesam, you're going to take something else and start lighting from the Ner Ma'aravi. So therefore he says it's Kashya, right? It's going to be a question. Why? Because basically what's happening is, remember, what are we talking about? We're talking about that how are you going to light from the middle candle to all the other candles, right? How are you going to light from the Ner Ma'aravi to all the candles exactly? So therefor, this is going to be a question against everybody, right? Whether it's a bright according to Rav, or whether it's according to the Manda Amar according to Minyan Lener because of the Izu Mitzvah, or the Manda Amar according to Mishum Chusha Mitzvah, basically according to both opinions in Rav, it's going to be a problem. How are you going to do it? Even according to Shmuel, because according to Shmuel, you for sure need to use some type of a how do you call it, of a intermediary candle. So answers the Gemara, Til Gemara of Papa, Ptilot Arukot. He says no. The Papa comes and he explains that really what happened is that the Ptilot, the wicks, were very long. So since the wicks were very long, I could light each one from, right, that's what he's saying, I could light each one that without an intermediary. You know, I could light one candle from another candle going from the Ner Ma'aravi. So Ner Ma'aravi would light, if you want, I'll just show you very quickly, the Ner Ma'aravi, because there's actually a machloket, which one was the Ner Ma'aravi. So he says over here, I'm going to take a picture. Okay. And I'm going to take a... Okay, so basically like this, if I'm going to go very quickly, and I'll show you the picture right now. I'm going to share screen. So look, if you see right here, there's a machloket, there's two mandamars, which exactly was Ner Ma'aravi. I don't know exactly why you have to really go into it, but it's in Rashi, so if it's already brought down, we'll bring it down. According to this mandamar, Mizrach u'Marav munachim akanim, right? So therefore, basically like this. This is the east, where it says Mizrach. This is the west, where it says Marav. So therefore, and remember, the Kodesh Kodashim is always in the west. You're praying towards the west, okay? This is a menorah, and this is what we call the Parochet HaEdut. This is where the Parochet was a partition with a ma'ama, which is one hand breadth in between, which is 48 centimeters here. This was 48 centimeters. So he used to come in here, walk down, and come into the Kodesh Kodashim. It was purposely done in this way, because if both of them were right here, so then you would be able to see what's going on in the Kodesh Kodashim. So they purposely didn't want that. So here, what happened is that, how was the menorah facing? Was the menorah facing this way, east to west? So now, if the menorah is facing east to west, that's what it says here, Mandaman Mizrach u'Marav munachim akanim. So therefore, the Ma'aravi was the Ner HaSheni shebetzad hachitzon shu b'Mizrach, is the Aleph. That's the Ner HaMa'aravi. That's this one right here. According to the next mandama, okay, the menorah was going from north to south. So since the menorah is going north to south, the Ner HaMa'aravi was this one, was the middle one. Remember, there's only 7 branches in the menorah of the Bet HaMikdash, and that's why it's prohibited for us to make any menorah of 7 branches. All of them have to have right? The 6 branches. So therefore, what happens is, why is it called Ma'aravi? So the Ner HaEmtzai, Panav Keneged Ma'arav, meaning all of them, all these ones in the north were facing the Ner HaMa'aravi. All these ones in the south were facing the Ner HaMa'aravi. The Ner HaMa'aravi was facing towards the Ma'arav, meaning if I've got right here, right, which is basically, again, this one right here was more inclined towards the south, towards the Ma'arav, towards the west. And all of these 3 were towards this one, and all of these 3 were towards the middle one. So here you have the picture. Okay, okay, stops the share. Okay, perfect. So basically what happens now is, so we answer the ptilot were arukot. Since the ptilot were arukot means, since each one was long enough, I was able to connect, right, one candle to another candle directly. I didn't need to come and use another candle to come and light it. Each one with the long wicks, I was able to connect them. So the Ner HaMa'aravi lit this side and lit this side, and then each one would continue going. Okay, and you were able to do that. So therefore, there was no intermediary. Since there was no intermediary, you can't bring any actual questions. So says the Gemara, that's very good. Without using an intermediary, you just answered that part of the problem. But sof sof lemandam mishum chushe mitzvah kashya. What about Ravada Barava? Ravada Barava, he just said that it was a chushe mitzvah. Chushe mitzvah means even if I'm going to light directly from one candle to another candle, it looks like I'm weakening that candle. Okay, so according to Rav, if the reasoning that it's prohibited is because of a chushe mitzvah, here you have a chushe mitzvah. Says Gemara Kasha, you're right. Meaning, according to Ravada Barava, in this form of thinking, because again, it's Ravada Barava explaining Rav that you're not allowed to light from one candle to another candle directly because of a chushe mitzvah. You have a question mefurash from the menorah, the Mezeh Mikdash. So it's a good question. It's a kasha. Okay, fine. So what's the halacha basically? Are you allowed to light from one candle to another candle? So anyway, technically we already brought down the halacha, but we paskin that like Abaye said, that Rabbi Bar Nachmani comes and he said that we always paskin like Rav except for these 3. So obviously paskin you're allowed to do from one candle to another candle, and that's brought down in Shulchan Aruch as well. But the Gemara is going to ask, "My Havyala, what's the maskana?" Okay, Amar Rav Huna ber Rav Yoshua says Rav Huna ber Rav Yoshua Chazina. We're going to see 1 second. In order to answer this question, let's see. Ihad lakao mitzvah maliki minel mitzvah minel lemed, which means if the hikar of the mitzvah of Chanukiah is the lighting, so then you're allowed to light from one candle to another candle. Why? Because it says the maaseh adlaka is the mitzvah. So therefore, if you're going to tell me that the lighting is the mitzvah, so I can light from one candle to another candle, but that's the mitzvah, and I did the mitzvah now. Perfect. However, though, iyanacha is the mitzvah. If it's the anacha and not the mitzvah adlaka, meaning I don't care where you're lighting it. You can light it wherever you want. But then where I'm putting it is the mitzvah. So therefore, I am aliki. You cannot do that. Why? Because even if you're not going to light, right, yashar from one to another, that's a bizayon. Because the mitzvah is not the lighting. The mitzvah is where you're putting it. So therefore, I don't care where you're lighting it, who's lighting it, how you're lighting it. So therefore, it's a bizayon. Because when you came and you lit from one candle to another candle, if the hanacha is the mitzvah, not the adlaka, you didn't do mitzvah. The mitzvah is the hanacha, where you're placing it, not the lighting it. So when you lit it, you just disgraced the mitzvah. Because this actually was a question in the Gemara. The Gemara asks, halakha usa mitzvah, or hanacha usa mitzvah. What is the mitzvah? Is the mitzvah the lighting of the Chanukiah or the placing of the Chanukiah? So Tashema, we're going to try to bring a proof. The Amar Rava comes and he says, Hayat tafus ner Chanukah ve'omed. Imagine right now, I have the ner Chanukah in my hand. Yeah, I have the ner Chanukah in my hand. So he says, tafus ner Chanukah ve'omed. So says the Gemara, what happens is, right, that means I left it in my hands the entire time. Lo asaf el klum, I wasn't into the chuvah. Shema mina comes to teach you, hanacha usa mitzvah. The hanacha is what is the mitzvah. Why? Because he didn't put the candles down. So the fact that I held the candles in my hand the entire time, it's not a good mitzvah. Answers the Gemara, that's not a good proof. He says, why? You know why if you're holding the Chanukiah the entire time, it doesn't count? Even if you're going to tell me Lakao Samita, because I'm looking at you and I'm saying, why are you holding the Chanukiah? It means that you needed it for light. That means, okay, you use the Chanukiah, but you were using it for personal light. You didn't light the Chanukiah, so because of that, that's why you're not going to be Sechovah. But really, the lighting of the candle is already enough. I don't care where you're going to put it afterwards. Tashema, we're going to bring another proof, but now to the other side. Damar Rava says, Illika bifnim, right? Veotzia. What happens if I lit it inside my house and then I took it outside? Now, obviously, this is during the time when I'm supposed to take it outside. So what happened? Lo asa klum, I didn't do anything. So it says the Gemara, it makes sense according to what we just said if the adlaka is doing the mitzvah. Why does it make sense if the adlaka is doing the mitzvah? The lighting is what does a mitzvah, and hadlaka bimkomo bainim, I have to light it outside. I lit it inside, so I didn't do the mitzvah. Mishum hachi lo asa klum, that's why I didn't do anything. But if you're going to tell me hanacha osa mitzvah, that the mitzvah is where I'm going to place it afterwards, amai lo asa klum, why didn't I do anything? At the end of the day, even if I lit it inside my house, I took it outside in the proper place, so it should have counted. So answers the Gemara, again, we're going to try to disprove this as well. Hatam nami, there also. He says the one that's seeing you come and taking it out, he's also going to say, he did it for his own necessities. And then that means you lit it inside your house, you used it, and only afterwards you took it outside. That's why it's not a mitzvah. That's why even though technically speaking, right, no, but it doesn't count because somebody's going to come and say that you use it for your own personal benefits. Since you used it for your own personal benefits, that's why it didn't help. So, okay, so again, we pushed each one on the side. So, Tashima, we're going to try to bring another proof. He says, we're on the top of Kav Gimel Amud Aleph, 23A1. We're just going to get to the two dots. Okay? Ashashit. When you have a ner, a candle inside of a kli zechuchit, inside of a glass container, that was lit the entire time, the entire day. So basically, after you lit on Erev Shabbat for Ner Chanukah, Lev Shabbat, you put enough that it's going to be there the entire Shabbat. The Motzei Shabbat, what do you do on Motzei Shabbat now? So imagine, Erev Shabbat, I come, I have a glass container, I put the Chanukiah, I put enough oil to last the entire day and the entire night until the next day. All of a sudden, Motzei Shabbat, what am I supposed to do? I have to turn it off, Mechaba, Umalika, then I'm going to come and I'm going to light it again. It's good if you're going to tell me now that the hadlaka is doing the mitzvah shopping. So then it makes sense. Why does it make sense? He says because if you're going to tell me hadlaka osa mitzvah, so therefore it makes sense. All you have to do is just turn it off and then turn it back on again. The hadlaka osa mitzvah. The hadlaka is what does the entire mitzvah. But if you're going to tell me hanacha osa mitzvah, if you're going to tell me that the hanacha, the placing is a mitzvah, why does it say that you just have to turn it off and turn it on again? Mechaba umagbiha. I have to pick it up again and then put it back down. Because if not, what happens is that it looks like that I didn't actually do any anacha. The anacha was there already from yesterday. So if the anacha is doing the mitzvah, I didn't do any anacha. The mitzvah laka is doing the mitzvah. So this is a proof that the lighting is doing all the mitzvah. Another proof, the od, and another proof, what's the beracha? The beracha is Hashem Hashem tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Chanukah. Lehadlik. Shemamina comes to teach you halaka or mitzvah, that it's halaka that's doing the entire mitzvah shemamina. So says the Gemara, the hashadamin, now that we say halaka or mitzvah, that it's everything is halaka. Idlika cheresh shotev v'katan osa klum. If a cheresh shotev v'katan, a deaf mute, or a person that's not 100% there, or a child is going to light the ner chanukah, he didn't do anything. Why? Because the halaka is done the mitzvah, the lighting, and these people are not fit for lighting, right? However, though, isha v'day madlika, a woman could for sure madlik the nerot. Why? Women are obligated in Ner Chanukah, because they were also part of the miracle. So it comes out lemaskana, since we just brought a proof that the halakha is what does the mitzvah, which means the lighting does the mitzvah, not the hanacha, everything has to do with the halakha. So everything has to do with the lighting. That's why alakha l'maaseh, it's important that you are allowed to light from one candle to another candle, because the halakha itself is the mitzvah, and therefore there's no bizayon mitzvah, which means because you're lighting directly from one candle to another candle, you're not allowed to use an intermediary candle. But also when you're lighting, you have to be careful. For example, I cannot light above 20 amot and then bring it down, because when I lit it, halakha osa mitzvah, it was pasul, didn't help. Or I cannot light it too low and then pick it up, because again, halakha osa mitzvah, the lighting is a mitzvah. So therefore, said the lighting is what does the mitzvah. And in these three cases, we paskin like, not like Rav, but rather like Shmuel, which is exceptions to the rule. So basically, you're allowed to take off tzitzit from one clothing, one beged, and putting onto a newer clothing, right? You're allowed to do that as well. And we paskin say also, the Rashi Mikaven is mutar in Ilchot Shabbat, because it's very, very important. Okay? Let me just stop the recording.